Greetings everyone, welcome back to my sketchbook. Today we're going to try something a little bit different. We're actually going to draw a word. And we're going to use like a Sharpie, which is apparently a fine point, which I kind of worked into a little bit of a fun nub. So there's that. And then I have three sort of complementary, contrasting colors. And I'm going to use these to do something kind of fun. So let's see how this goes. Let's zoom in here first. All right, let's see if that'll lock down just enough so that I want it to not be so blurry. Thank you. Come on, technology. Well, we'll see how that goes. So, the 1980s, you kind of got to notice certain things. You got to see like street art kind of make a, well, I mean, you know what? It's always been kind of around. And a lot of it has been kind of a nuisance, which is kind of too bad. You know, people will go around and they'll tag things and sometimes write political statements. And it can be a nuisance to the homeowner or the business owner to clean it up. Now, there are some places that do a tremendously great job with getting street artists to come in and do murals. And I'm a big fan of that. But I'm not a fan of people just, putting messy, sometimes very inappropriate things on structures when they don't have the permission to do so. So, yeah. Nowadays, I think one of the places where you see a lot of this kind of stuff is in, let's say, train yards, on trains, which is sort of where I'm kind of pulling a little bit of this from as a reminder from when I was younger, I suppose. Because I used to do this kind of bubble drawing on things. So, I have written the word style. Didn't go exactly the way I want it, but if you have a can of spray paint, I guess this is what you might end up with when you're trying to do things a certain way. I don't recommend going out there and doing this kind of stuff without permission. I think it's kind of an ignorant thing to do. Anyway, that's what I have for that. Next, I'm going to use purple. Now, I'm going to use three colors, but I don't know. I could go horizontal. This will be the dividing line. Let's go kind of here to there. And I'm just going to kind of work this roughly there. So this is going to be the dividing point for my blending. I guess if you have like well, let's say the alcohol markers, that could probably work pretty good. Will that be enough? Well, I guess we'll find out. And for the top part, I'm going to use green. Now, some would probably go blue on top because blue could be sky. I'm doing it this way because I didn't put any real thought into this. I just thought this would be kind of neat, so I just grabbed the next marker. But yeah, let's say green for grass and blue for sky. Or you could have orange and pink. They contrast pretty well too. I didn't even think of that. Orange and pink. That's interesting. Be kind of cool. Oh, I went back to purple. Let's go to the blue. Sometimes that's the burden of putting on the amber glasses. Now, let's see. I would think for those people that are doing this art form in places where they shouldn't be, they probably try to think, how do I get this done quick? And some of them might use stencils. Some of them might use, messy tags. And let's see. All right, next, I'm going to use water. And I'm going to just use a lot of water. I'm going to start off in the purple here. And I'm going to make sure that that is pretty soggy in the center part here. But I'm fascinated by some of the artwork that's done on trains. And I wonder if in some ways, now they probably don't, but if in some ways they get permission to do some of that stuff. Because I see that it looks like somebody probably spent a solid couple of hours. Now that could be in like a holding area for the trains, for the train cars, with fairly lax security. But anyway, so that's my center blurry line. Now I'm going to go green, mainly stay up high until I'm ready to work those two colors together. Hopefully it doesn't get too muddy. Stay up high. Now in the world of using spray cans, what you see here as an outline, you'd probably do last, over the top. So you'd think in layers. If you're getting permission to do an awesome mural, I would do it that way. Just a quick kind of blending of that. Let's see. Going high. Make my way into the purple. Oop. Just like that. Final part here. Yeah, I like the idea of the orange and the pink for some reason. That seems like a cool, maybe 60s vibe. I don't know. If you have watercolors, you can do this kind of stuff, like water paint. Acrylics don't blend as nice as watercolors do. You can, though. Obviously, you can mix paint. I like these markers because of what you can do with them this way. Kind of a watercolor marker. Okay. That is roughly it. Hopefully I gave enough time for the upper part to dry a little bit, because now the final thing, if you had white paint, you could put in highlights. If you had a better fine tip marker, well, I guess you could do it that way too. But so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to look at these corners, and maybe even that there too, to just kind of put in a little bit of a highlight, sort of that bubbling effect that you would get in the 1980s, which I would have done more than 2 of in my childhood. Maybe just a little one there. There you go. In that style. And for fun, let's back this out so you can see at a distance without all that weird, blurry, awesome stuff going on. So that's what I used. And that's what I used. Just for fun. Folks, thanks for hanging out for a minute or so. And hopefully you gave that a try yourself. And hopefully we'll see you at some point in the near future. All right. Ciao for now.